Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm.
From Cat Country 106.3 in Indiana County. Anyhow, welcome Steelers Nation to another episode of Steelers Realm Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, JT, and we got a great panel for you tonight and lots to talk about. So in no particular order, my man Kitch in the house with us tonight, TA with us, and boy, do we have the whole team with us, Freight Train and the Hijacker all together.
When you start bringing in Kitch, let's just say Kitch is in the kitchen. He's ready to cook like Russ.
He's cooking. He's always cooking, man. Yeah. So welcome, guys. Welcome, Steeler Nation. Looking forward to an interesting chat tonight. Lots to talk about. And football is just around the corner, live football, and we know who's going to be playing on the field. So, yeah, I'm interested to get started on things. But before we do, just a little quick, how's your week been going out? TA, welcome back, man.
Hey, thanks, JT. Good to be back, man. I missed you guys.
We missed you too, buddy.
Absolutely, man.
TA, you don't have to lie for us to be friends.
Oh, man, I'd never lie to you, Freight Train. Maybe
on the show. It's back in the house. Now. Again, Kit's back with us too, and gang's all here, guys. So, Freight Train, have a good week.
Yeah, not too bad. Man, it's hotter than a hornet's nest outside here the past couple of days here in the wonderful state of Ohio. But
you up on roofs and shit, or what?
No, dude, I got the inside job now.
Okay.
You know, for the time being. Yeah, for the time being, so
truck and just point fingers. No, over there.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely some perks, but no, my kids, man, they started they do cross country, so they had their first race the past weekend. Yeah, so they definitely didn't get that from Dad. Dad wasn't built for speed; he was built for other things, but speed's not one of them.
Nor was you're in the NFL.
Let alone going cross country, because you're one freight train that don't make it out of the yard.
He's not lying.
You're stuck on the round table.
Yeah, the cold tenders are empty.
Well, Kitch and I were able to keep as much inside in the 68-degree air-conditioned store as possible, and make it through, and a little bit of chance to chit chat a little bit too. So yeah, it's hotter than hell out there, man. Good place to be inside. Good place to be inside.
For sure.
So a lot of air conditioners. We sold one 5 minutes before it closed today.
Which is crazy because it's about to be fall. What are you going to buy it and use it 5 times and then put it back?
I'll tell you what, I don't know about you. You know, I got plenty of insulation, so when it's hot, man, I want it not hot anymore.
Yeah,
so, I'm sure it's a portable one, so they can just kind of move it from room to room if they want to. So, but anyhow, whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and we had breaking news just on the way home from work this evening. So looking forward to talk about that, and also kind of recap the Lions preseason game last week. And I'm sure we have flavorful opinions about what was going on there. The roster cuts, also the breaking news, like we said, Brandon Aiyuk will not be coming to the Steeler land.
Say it's not so.
Say it ain't so.
Really?
Thank God.
Is the clickbait finally over?
Oh my God!
Oh, they'll find something else.
Yeah, there'll be something else. But
get to cut all the lines for all you suckers out there who believed in that shit.
And to my surprise, Tomlin announced the starting quarterback. I thought he would hold that under his hat as long as he could, just to kind of mess with coaching staff over the defensive coaching staff over at in Atlanta. But no, he announced the starter, and then kind of this was tough initially. We thought it was worse, but we'll get into that too. Issac Seumalo on his injury, and we'll be going over our predictions at the end of the night too, and set things up for or probably, if we can get it pulled off, a mega cast for our prediction show. So we'll keep that under our hat for now for the upcoming week or so, and then let you know.
So we're going to do predictions between us, and then predictions on the mega cast.
We'll do a mega cast. Yeah, we can hold out if you guys are all right with that.
I got all excited for it, and now you're going to make me wait.
Yeah,
that's what he spent all his time looking up stats.
Yeah, now I'm not prepared for the show.
All good things come to those who wait.
Hey, man, sometimes you just got to wing it. It's okay.
Gotta keep you in suspense.
He's just
major changes here in the next couple days or weeks or weeks. Yeah, so
goodness.
Truth be told, this is the first time he's ever prepared.
That's true. That's not a lie. I'm the king of winging it. How many times, just offhand, can we remember where I'm like, you know what, guys, I didn't have time to do a call sheet, so let's just word vomit.
Oh yeah, well we get plenty of that on this podcast, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
no problem. All right, so let's go around high level real quick, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. Lions game. Let's start with you, Kitch. Overall, quick 30-second take. Your thoughts on that game? What you did see of it?
I mean, I believe it just kind of confirmed what I've been seeing all preseason. I mean, we got some standout guys that are doing some amazing things. Some guys that I thought would make the roster but didn't because of the play the whole preseason. And I mean, outside of Herbig and Benton, nothing really stuck out to me too much.
All right. Well, Nolan, since you're sitting right up on top there, your high-level view of the game in 30 seconds.
Well, I love that one series where we just sacked the quarterback like 3 times in a row. That was amazing to watch. You think we can do that during the regular season too, by chance, or no?
Well, in the regular season, we'll have Highsmith and Watts. So, I mean, okay. I think we could pull it off.
Yeah, let's do it. Mm-hmm. But I was happy to see the offense all finally got going. They finally scored a touchdown somehow. We got lucky. Well, Patterson had a nice run. He had great blocking in front of him. Zach Frazier looked good on that block. Good to see. Russell Wilson was slinging it a little to Pickens, a 31 dagger. And, yeah, some nice touchdowns too. Yep. First team offense looked good.
What do you think, TA?
I tell you what, the excitement that's coming from the panel tonight is overwhelming.
Let's fucking go.
I mean, holy shit here. So I can't hold back. I'm just going to let it out now. The guy who I loved the most was Plumlee, and he didn't even make the damn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Dude, honestly, I was pulling for him too, man. I really was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, other than that, I mean, it was about what I expected. I mean, I'll be honest, I really thought Tomlin would give the QBs more work because I don't think they got enough work in this preseason. So evidently they must be shining in camp, man, because it just seemed real lackluster to me. But hey, who am I? I'm just a guy with a microphone drinking Jimmy Beam in his garage.
Well, in reality, I mean, we just expected to see some rhythm coming out of the team. Russell Wilson, first real showing. So, I mean, they looked okay. The backups, the rest of the game looked like shit, if you ask me. But,
well, what's really funny about this? I mean, out of all 4 quarterbacks, are you ready for this? I don't know if you guys realize this or not. We only threw 15 pass attempts.
What?
So no wonder they look fucking good. 15 pass attempts between 4 quarterbacks. Fuck, they look stellar. Hell yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cordell Patterson, another bright spot. 31-yard run.
Mm-hmm. He looks good.
I mean, he looked kind of goofy on that run. It looked like he was just trying to get to the bathroom quick.
He did kind of look like he had a stick up, as you know.
He can have as many sticks as he wants. If he scores touchdowns, I'll take it.
I think he might have just been shocked with how the Lions been all preseason. He's just like, oh, holy shit, a hole.
He's probably thinking, man, I really got to run 30 yards.
All right. Well, who didn't quite make it? Who fell? Who do you guys think fell below the line?
What did Freight Train think of the game? He doesn't.
Hey, I'm here if you need me. Don't worry about me.
He's waiting.
Don't worry about me.
I
already told him I had to talk about the quarterback situation, so he's cutting my other time so I can make it up later on in the show.
Okay. Well,
no, I'm not as okay with this last game as what you guys seem to be. I was severely disappointed. I thought for sure this team had some pretty quality depth within it. And I saw a bunch of guys get pushed around, especially in the defensive line and the offensive line against a bunch of third-string players. The Lions didn't play any of their starters, really hardly any of their second team. These are guys that majority of them probably got cut. And there was nobody that stood out. Like, I was hoping going into this that there was going to be easy decisions to be made for Mike Tomlin on who's going to make this football team coming out of it. And I didn't see one person stick out to make it an easy decision. Coverage wasn't the greatest. They didn't tackle. That's the worst thing about this whole preseason was the tackling was god-awful. They have got to get that shored up before we hit Atlanta because the tackling within these 3 games is purely unacceptable. So the depth was concerning to me. The tackling certainly is concerning. I'm not as high on it. And like TA said, we didn't really get much out of these quarterbacks. Like 15 pass attempts, like you can't really judge anything off that. I mean, at least both of them drove down the field for touchdown drives, which is encouraging, but there was nothing really there to evaluate.
So let me ask, what'd you think of the water boy?
At least they stayed hydrated.
All right.
I mean, seriously, we got pushed around like ragdolls in this game. And I know it's the 3rd preseason, but these should be a bunch of guys fighting for their last chance to become NFL players. And one side looked like it was fighting. The other side looked like they were just happy to be there.
Well, one battle was Graham versus Bishop at slot corner. Neither of those guys looked particularly exciting to watch. I don't know. One of them got cut, but it's sort of like who was the worst based on that decision. They retained Graham on the practice squad anyways, though.
Well, Beanie made the team, though, right?
Yeah, Beanie. Mm-hmm. But Graham got cut to practice squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get into the 53-man cuts now?
Oh.
There was 53 guys that got cut. Holy cow. Do we have a team?
That's a great segue there, Nolan. I love it, baby.
Yeah. It was 53.
Not much to talk
they
about.
They should have cut 53. That's how bad they were.
Jeez.
They had 53 to cut.
I can't. It was 90 and then what? 53. I don't know math.
Numbers are hard.
That would be a total of 37 players.
Listen, I'm not a math guy.
That's all right. 37.
Okay,
we'll teach you how to count with your shoes off later.
All right, that's definitely.
All right. So anybody? So here, let's just help this out. Anybody surprised that we kept 3 quarterbacks?
No.
No.
Anybody surprised that we kept 3 running backs?
No.
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 I am. I just got to
Really?
hit this out. Absolutely. You've got two workhorses in Najee and Jalen, and your number one backup is a 31-year-old has-been in Cordell Patterson who hasn't made it through a season healthy in how many seasons? And you let a couple of these young studs go? Yeah, I have a huge problem here with the running back situation.
I think.
So who do you think they should have kept then?
I tell you what.
One of those guys we were talking about, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Edwards.
Yeah, I myself, some like Ward. I like Perrine. I thought Perrine did a fantastic job. I even thought Shamplin done a great job throughout this preseason. Dijon Mustard, not too high on him, but I really think Perrine might have been worth another look. I thought he really had a great camp and looked good during preseason.
Yeah, P. Ryan looked good. What, a touchdown last game?
No, bro, it's Perrine. If TA says Perrine, it's Perrine. Okay.
P. Ryan.
Thank you, Freight Train. Perrine. You got to get with the times, Nolan.
I'm not good at pronouncing either.
Well, TA, I think that's their kind of excuse to keep Cordell Patterson on the roster. Like, they say they sign him for kick returns. Okay, but you're not going to keep a guy simply on the roster to be a kick returner. You're not going to waste a roster spot for that. So I think they have different plans with Cordell to get him involved in this offense somehow, some way, maybe in a package.
Fullback position,
possibly, or maybe some sort of speed, power option play with him and Justin Fields on the field together. But yeah, I think
like
it's
a
simply
wildcat
them
package.
Yeah, some simple way of keeping him around.
Look,
well, Tomlin did hint to make sure that you keep an eye out for a Fields package in there.
Ooh.
So,
which I think is interesting because he avoided that throughout the entire training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, we're less than a week away. Atlanta better be ready. Really? Why would you even do that? We just talked about you went ahead and you gave the cat out of the bag for your starting QB,
right?
Which you already knew who your starting QB was. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to say, hey, you better go ahead and get prepared for a package. And then, by the way,
you know what? Here's half our playbook, so you know what we're running.
I about guarantee Tomlin's just trolling him. I guarantee will not see Fields on the field unless Russ gets hurt week 1. I think we're at least trying to keep Russ functional so he could have his revenge game.
That's interesting, but wait till I get to my research with the quarterbacks thing, and maybe you'll change your mind.
You mean the upcoming rant, right?
The upcoming. It's not a rant.
It's gonna be a rant.
You mean the recurring?
We need to give a warning.
I've had a coming to Jesus moment with Russ being the quarterback. So, okay.
No, he hasn't.
So then
the fields are very salty.
Let's keep the ball rolling. Looks like we stayed in the trenches, boys and girls. We have 9 offensive linemen: Spencer Anderson, James Daniels, Troy Fontanua, Zach Frazier, Broderick, I couldn't block a damn thing, Jones, Ryan McCollum, Mason, I can do everything, McCormick, Dan Moore Jr., thank God somebody loves me, and Isaac, we will not see you Tamala Malo. Now, it seems like this is a good call already, since out of the 9 offensive linemen, we've already lost 1. We ain't even played the first game yet, boys.
Yeah, right. All right, and dinged up 2 other ones.
Yeah, I agree with this one. You can't have too many guys in the trenches on your roster. Like, we've seen this for many, many years where offensive linemen get hurt and you're down to your second and third option. So I think it's very important to keep this many offensive linemen on the roster.
Yeah, need as many online as we can get.
Yep, no doubt. No argument there.
Yeah.
Did we really talk about receivers yet?
Not yet.
We ain't got that far.
We have those?
We do.
We got some
Apparently,
players.
we're just running it through all tight ends.
We got 4 tight ends.
Yeah.
No, we only got 3 tight ends.
Really?
And
Only
a
3?
fullback, a fullback tight end split.
Oh wait, Connor Hayward's counted as a fullback, right?
Yeah, he counts as a
Wait.
fullback, but
Oh,
he's
okay.
a tight end.
But is he an H-back?
I don't know.
Yes, maybe.
He's a Mike Tomlin Swiss Army knife.
Oh, he's a
There
Swiss
you go.
Army knife.
That's what he is on the depth chart. You didn't see that?
I didn't.
No,
Yeah.
I missed it.
All right,
Yeah,
so
SAN, Swiss Army knife.
I got a question to ask, guys.
Wouldn't
Was
that be
it really
SAK?
necessary that we kept Michael Dole Pruitt on the team?
Oh yeah, Arthur Smith's got to have his guy.
Yeah. Smith will use him.
So let's talk about this guy. This guy is lucky if he's averaged 100 yards a season.
Well,
Hey,
TA, I might be looking at this a little bit too deeply. But Pat Freiermuth seems to have an issue with concussions in his career. Would you agree with that? I mean, he's had 4 in the past couple years, 3 years?
Absolutely.
So this might be that kind of security blanket for a guy that is prone to concussions. You don't really know what you have receiving wise with Darnell. You need that other tight end that can come in and catch the football. Now, I know you'll come back with, well, we've seen that with Connor. But again, nobody knows what Connor's role is on this offense. Like, it hasn't been answered since he's been on the roster. He's one thing, and then the next week he's another thing. So
He just kind of
I
does
think it's
everything.
I think it's kind of almost just like a security blanket, knowing the history or the injury history of the guys that we have. Because in a running offense, those tight ends are very important, and they have to be good blockers, and you got to have tight ends. So that's kind of why I think they went this route.
If your end's not tight, you're not running.
No,
Thank God he said it,
exactly.
or I was gonna.
So I might give you the fact here on the tight ends and being run, and I like that. But here's my thing: if you're going to run 2 package tight ends and you kept Michael Dole Fruit on the team just for that, and you go ahead and you're having Darnell Washington as a blocker too, does the defense really get scared when it sees that personnel on there if you can't stretch the field to throw the ball?
Well, he's going to be a game day inactive anyways.
Who is?
You're-
Cole Midol
Pruitt. Yeah. He's not going to be active. He'll be on the roster, but he's going to be inactive.
He'll be inactive and more active, Connor. All right, I'll give you that.
Yes.
You made me feel better, and I'm going to sleep better tonight. Kitch, how about you? You sleeping better?
That's why I'm on the show, all to make you feel better.
JT, what about you?
He's already asleep.
He's dozing off over there.
Moving on.
So then let's go to the wide receivers, JT. This is your category.
Beat the shit out of all these topics, so I got nothing.
Because I'm waiting to hear about the wide receiver, because I know you're tore up right now that Brandon Aiyuk isn't here for you to discuss.
Oh God.
We're gonna hold off.
You really want to go there already?
Are we just gonna
Absolutely.
skip straight to that segment?
Let's go. Come on. Let's make it
Why don't we
happen.
just have an Aiyuk and Justin Fields isn't starting segment?
Yeah, we could.
time to
We're
talk
having a
about it
party
again.
over here. I mean,
It's not party time yet.
I'm just gonna
it's
make it
always
real
party
simple.
time.
Good fucking riddance, and we should sue the asshole.
For our pain and suffering.
Hey, can we do that? Can a Steelers fan do like a civil suit? Are we able to do that? You know,
No.
they're doing it
Can we
for
try
direct
it?
TV, right? I mean,
Well, if
I'm
that's
sure we can get like 250,000 Steelers nations to sign off on a petition to sue Aiyuk. He just signed a deal for what, $63 million or something? I want my portion.
TA, if
I
that's the
can't-
case, if that's the case, Kenny Pickett owes me a bunch of money in a Levin's furniture store.
Oh,
Because
shame on
that's
you
how
for
I
saying
feel.
that.
No, I agree with that.
You didn't just say that, did you?
Hell no, he said a word.
I mean,
Speaking of suing people, I'm taking that
You gotta
bastard
sue
for
the
everything he's
mittens
got.
off of him.
In terms of some of our play selection, man, it just wasn't a good enough play.
Yeah, whatever.
Tell us about it.
All right. So anyhow, that's all I have to say. Fine, go get your money. I don't know. Did anybody happen to see he went on like a 45-second rant complaining, using himself, like talking about himself in third party?
No,
he really is becoming the next Antonio Brown.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But yeah, after I watched that, I'm like, you know what? We don't want that dude on our team.
I did see, however, that the offer that he accepted, the 49ers offered him that way back on August 12th.
Oh yeah.
So why are we waiting this long? If you're already going to accept it, then let's just do it.
Oh, he was.
I don't know if it was his way of not having a practice. Did he just not want to practice and just wanted to come in the last second?
Let me just say this: karma's a bitch.
Yeah. Thank goodness Cam Hayward's not taking that route.
Yeah. No, stand-up guy.
I think he's come to realization that he's not getting one right now.
Well, we have some money.
Well, I'll tell you what, JT, let me ask you this. Are you comfortable with the 5 wide receivers we kept in George Pickens, Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller, and Roman Wilson?
I'm not 100%. I will admit I was kind of disappointed that he ended up signing in San Francisco. Would have been interesting, no doubt, and would have been a good tool to have. But, you and I have talked about this at Friday Night Lights, and I don't think we're going to have much choice but to kind of dance with the one that we brought. And there might be another move out there. There might be another addition. But you know what it'll be. And,
Martavis Bryant? He's available.
He is available.
He did just get cut.
Yeah,
he did.
Available. And actually, there's a lot of top names out there that are available. There was nothing done off the waiver wire, right? That's done, right?
Yeah, all done.
Well, yeah. I mean, we still have an opportunity to bring in a wide receiver or two. We have not done that yet.
No.
To fill out the practice squad. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I think my biggest surprise is that we only kept 5. Yeah. One guy who was injured, in Roman Wilson.
Mm-hmm, right.
And I really thought Dez had a great preseason.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
I thought Dez was a lock to make the roster. I was shocked to see that.
Yeah, I was Scotty Miller over Dez. Interesting.
Yeah, dumb.
Yeah, I mean, both of them played pretty well. I will say that. Scotty Miller played it. He earned his right on here, but I honestly thought Dez was going to be that 6th guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He finally
surprised me.
He probably would have been that 6th guy if there was a 6th guy.
Yeah.
There should have been 6. Like, I don't feel comfortable going into the season with 5 receivers, one of them hurt.
Yeah, it should have been 6.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, does that mean we're not running any 4 wide receiver sets?
Maybe we're just going to try to not pass it to cover up the ineptitude of our quarterback situation.
Well, remember, we got 2 other Swiss Army knives in Cardell Patterson and Connor Hayward that we can put out there, I guess, as wide receivers.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, Cordell started his career as a receiver, so I mean, like, he could probably take some snaps out of the slot, but still.
But he wasn't 240 pounds back then either.
Yeah, and he wasn't 31 years old at the time.
And actually, I'm sorry, he's 33. I slept 2 years in his career.
Oh, well, I mean, until he switched to running back, his career wasn't really anything special. So.
Mm-mm.
Well, and here's the thing. Dez is still out there. So I'm not quite sure why we didn't pick him back up.
Well, maybe he was keeping a spot open.
I mean, I've heard rumblings of John Menchie, and what's the other one that the
from
Texans
Broncos.
He already signed somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, he already signed.
Oh,
what's the other? Noah Brown.
He
signed Noah Brown
with the Commanders, maybe.
But I mean, neither of those guys are really that enticing either. So I think we're just stuck with what we have for the time being, and just hope that the football gods are watching upon us and we don't get any injuries.
Well, let's hope we play a good possession type game, and where we're not going to notice a lack of wide receivers because we're going to be throwing over the middle a lot.
Well, the thing is, somebody else has got to make a play, though. That's the thing. Somebody else besides George Pickens is going to have to make a play, because you can't go into a game one-dimensional. This is the NFL. This ain't college football.
I mean, if they throw
in college football, if you have a premier running back, he's going to run for 200 yards every single week. It doesn't matter. In the NFL, it's a different beast.
Pickens is going to get the double coverage anyhow. So, but you still need other wide receivers to run patterns. You can't just let one guy wide open. So, they're going to be still going to be forced to cover those guys. Do we need two superstars? Yeah, sure, it'd be nice. But we just need possession guys. We need Hines Ward guys.
I still say that Muth can be that if we threw him something other than hospital passes.
Well, we saw some flashes of him Friday Night Lights, and he looks trimmer than he was last year. I don't know if he dropped some weight or what, but he even looked a little faster.
Well, I'll be interested with Muth while we're on the subject. The NFL says now players are allowed to be playing with those Guardian caps on.
Yeah.
And with Moose, I'm serious with those concussion problems. I mean, you got to think about it.
Even with as painfully stupid as they look, I would like to see Muth in one of those.
Yeah.
Right. Just put him in bubble wrap. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. But that's something he does seriously have to consider, since it's now legal. And the NFL said, yeah, you're allowed to start wearing these in actual games. Like, does it look ugly as hell? Yeah, you can't tell if you're playing now or if you're playing back in the early 1900s when all they had was leather little flaps. You know what I mean? But I mean, if it helps keep him on the field, then hopefully he's all for it.
How long before they add so many layers that players start looking like bobbleheads?
Yeah.
No, well, they're kind of already there.
So
they already do kind of look like bobbleheads.
Oh, but
they do a great job.
It's only going to get
a great paint job making it look like you can't really tell. They're just like enormously of Cam Hayward heads now.
Oh, there we go.
Remember the dude, TA, you probably would. He was a lineman for the 49ers. They cut another helmet and pasted up on top of his current helmet. Do you remember that at all, TA?
Are you talking about Jack Buzzsaw Reynolds?
It might be. I don't remember the guy's name, but he had a huge head, and then on top of that, that's exactly what they did. They like cut the top part of another helmet off and stuck it on the top of his head. Goofy looking thing.
Yeah,
they got to pull.
That was completely safe to do.
They just made it like extra level of battering ram.
Yeah, hey, it's all right as long as OSHA's not watching.
Yeah, he's just out there like OSHA. Never heard of her.
Well, guys, looking at the 24 players on offense, I mean, are we okay that Russ is our starting quarterback? That there is a potential Fields package, and the critics right now are eating this offensive line up right now. And with Seumalo out, guys, who steps in? Who takes his spot? Because not only did we lose Seumalo, but we also lost Herbig.
Oh. Well, there's definitely going to be some growing pains. But if it's possible, hopefully, especially in this first game, get that offensive line a little bit of confidence in itself, and get the running game going, and get the guys moving forward before they start getting into pass protection, to give themselves a little bit of confidence.
But, I mean, do you go into this season with Mason McCormick, a rookie, right beside another rookie in Zach Frazier?
Kind of have to at this point.
Pretty much.
JT, what are you thinking?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Hey, JT, take yourself off mute. We'd really love to hear that.
Yeah,
voice
we'd love
of
to
your
hear
brother.
Man.
Because the lips are moving. He's over there
Yeah,
going
he's
down, man. He's got a lot to say. He just ain't saying it.
There he
is.
Yeah, now we can hear him.
Yeah, something happened. It automatically muted me.
That's happened to me too.
Or was that you, Freight Train?
It was me. Just
I bleed the fifth.
Oh man. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the offensive line. We were talking about the offensive line. Are we?
Oh no. I said, well, if he's second string, then they obviously feel he's capable of doing it. I mean, who else you got?
So let me run this by you guys. We've already heard the whole Broderick Jones thing, and right tackle, left tackle really didn't look that good through camp. We hear that Troy's back. So, do you really start Troy over Broderick Jones? Or because Troy is used to playing that left side, hear me out for a minute. Do you go ahead and put Dan Moore on the left side, Troy Fontenot on the left guard to take Seumalo's spot, and throw Broderick on the right side? I mean, is that where we're at already, trying to patch together this offensive line before the first game?
No, I mean, if McCormick goes down or James Daniels, I could see that happening.
I've always been an advocate of keeping Broderick on the right side. I don't know why we even thought of moving him back to the left to begin with. I mean, he was the best offensive lineman on that right side last year. Like, why would you consider moving him? Like, that's happened multiple times in players' careers. They play left tackle in college, come to the NFL, and have great careers at the right tackle position. So,
or move him to center.
Or if he's comfortable there, just leave him there. I know it hasn't looked pretty, but I'm judging on Broderick's track record, like in college and then his rookie season last year. I think it's just a blip on the radar. I think he's still going to be a solid offensive lineman. Like, I'm not even really worried about it. But I do like your idea of Fontenot maybe sliding over there to left guard and putting Dan Moore back over there to the left tackle. I mean, maybe that's their kind of a good way to kind of slow roll Fontenot into an NFL offensive line position.
Just because he started working, I'm not so sure that they're ready to plug him back in there again. I think you're going to see Dan Moore at left tackle. What they're going to do at the guard position, I don't know. If it could be McCollum or not McCollum.
Anderson.
McCormick?
McCormick, yeah. So, but I think, you're going to see Jones back over at right tackle still for the time being. Yeah, I think there's more to that elbow injury than meets the eye. I think he was really playing gingerly on it that last game, and maybe the game before too, because he's been criticized both games for his giving up sacks and lack of play. He brushed it off his footwork a couple times, but at least once he said, no, I thought he was taking the inside route, so I stepped wrong and got burned on the outside. But nonetheless, I think there's more to that injury. And it's hard, man. As a lineman, you know how it is. Like you guys, you play baseball and stuff. You know how that like tennis elbow that gets that forearm, that elbow area gets tender, man. It's sometimes it's hard to lift a beer up, let alone block a 300-pound lineman coming at you.
And
that's how I get tennis elbow.
Lift two.
I've never really been that great at tennis, so I don't get it.
So I mean, so you're right about a nagging issue. So I mean, we could potentially be looking at two of our second stringers starting second week of the NFL season.
Possible.
Maybe.
Possible. We'll see how, as Tomlin would say, we'll let the participation in practice be our guide.
We're not living in our fears.
Yeah.
Break out all the Tomlinisms.
Iron sharpens iron.
It's that time of the year.
The standard is the standard.
All
right. So before we move on to defense, is everybody good with Russ?
I am finally.
What have you done with the real
finally
freight train?
came to the realization. Now's my time to shine. JT, go ahead and just mute yourself for about 1 minute here. So I did a little bit of soul searching about this whole ordeal, and everybody knows. Everybody knows, like that listens to this show, is on this panel, knows that I was banking on Justin Fields being the starter, banking. So I went back and looked at last season's statistics because I felt like there was more. There was more than just the 26 touchdowns. Okay, so in the first quarter.
Continue, please.
Okay.
Oh no, keep going. You're good.
So in the first quarter, okay, Russell Wilson was ranked 9th of all quarterbacks for touchdown passes in the first quarter, which we've all been banging our head on, that the offense needs to get off to a fast start. We haven't had a fast starting offense in a very long time. It's very, very critical. So Russ not only had the 6 first quarter touchdowns, which was ranked 9th, he also was ranked 22nd in yards. So they weren't big plays, but he was finishing drives to get the team on the board. Then you move into the fourth quarter. He had 9, which was number 1 in the league in touchdown passes. Everybody wanted to say how Kenny was clutch in the fourth quarter. Russ Wilson was actually the best, and he was 4th in yards. So, but then when you go to the second and the third, okay, second quarter, he only had 4, which was 25th, and in the third, he had 5, which was 12th. Now, mind you, Justin Fields was better in the second and third quarter. So I'm thinking maybe we have Russ kind of start and finish, but Justin comes in and kind of plays a little bit more into it's not as bad as you think.
The closer. We bring in a closer, dude.
No, just the packages with Justin to get Russ off the field because the defense is starting to adjust within the second and third of the game plan. So you bring in the other quarterback with his packages to kind of keep the defenses off balance.
I mean, I was thinking that like you were basically saying the short version of this. You're cool with Russ, but you still want Fields.
In packages. Like, we need to get both involved here. Because statistically, Russ is not good in the second and third quarters.
So what you're saying
a football game is won in 4 quarters.
Is you got the
if you
Russ
don't
package,
show up for 2 of them, that's not good.
You got the Russ package and you got the Fields package. The Russ package is the first and fourth quarter, and the Fields package is the second and third quarter. Now, I'm not
saying Justin comes in and plays the whole second and third quarter. I'm saying that Russ is taken off the field. Justin comes in and kind of switches it around, gives the defense another look at a different ran offense, and then he can come back in.
Well, and if you think of it, if you're a defensive coordinator, you have to be able to game plan for that, for his escapability. Just like when we play the Ravens and we have to game plan for Lamar Jackson's escapability, same kind of thing. But I've been pushing for this ever since we got them both, and how excited I was, thinking that we need to utilize him within the normal game span somehow.
Now,
why not give him a breather on a third down and medium or long?
Yeah, keep that defense honest. Now, mind you, Russell Wilson in that first
formation
quarter,
oh shit, now what do we do?
In that first quarter, his stats were better than Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, all those guys in that initial quarter of a football game.
When I brought this up, somebody did it to me, but so you're saying that Russell Wilson's better than Mahomes?
Hell yeah.
Well, he was last year in the first quarter. I will say that. If you just put first quarter tape up,
stats don't lie.
But that's why I think this was a little bit more than just giving the grizzled veteran the nod. There was a thought process to this, and they looked back at this historical data, and they understand that getting off to good starts in the national football team is extremely crucial, especially with a young team. Okay, we still have a pretty young team out there, and our defense is on the field way too long. So, just saying,
I think they put Russ out there. Hey, I think they're just putting Russ out there because although Justin Fields is absurdly talented, he can read a defense about as well as you can read a book, which isn't well.
Well, it all depends if it has pictures in it or.
Yeah.
No, it's not like a comic book or one of them pop-ups.
It's like a thesaurus or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Freight Train, I got to give you kudos, man, for digging that stuff up. That's great stuff.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude.
And you know what? Let's just entertain this for a minute. And I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but why couldn't it work if Russ came in on the first and the fourth quarter and Fields played second and third? Nobody's ever done it before. Nobody's never tried it before.
No.
Could you imagine that to have two quarterbacks just split the game?
Well, and the closest you've seen that is like the Wildcat, right?
Right. That's the closest you've seen.
But you are starting to see it. You are starting to see it in the college game. You know what I mean? There's definitely, like I saw tonight, like their starting quarterback was in, and then the other quarterback would come in for a couple drives.
It's like you got an option guy and a passer guy.
Yeah, I mean, like I've seen it in college and high school, and even like a semi-pro league like the AAF a few years back. There was at least one team that split the QB reps during the game. I mean, it can work, but at the same time, it can do the exact opposite. No quarterback develops a rhythm or any sort of momentum. Right. And you're just in a rut all game. Granted, it wouldn't really be anything new to us because that's where we were every game last season. But I just don't want to go through that again.
Yeah, right. Let's just
remember this time with like a really not gonna lie, I was a fan of Russ. Dude is an insufferable douchebag. I would love to see Fields out there, but no. I don't think either of these quarterbacks will be on this team next year.
The only thing that kind of concerns me is...
Hold on, stop. There's no more concern. You know why? Because we're up against it and we still have a defense to talk. I bought you time today. Now we're going into defense.
Going back.
He wants overtime.
Defensive line, boys and girls. Now, we kept 8. Any surprises here? Because I think that we kept the best 8. I'm kind of excited about this between Adams, Benton, Hayward, Lee. That was my guy, man. I liked Lee. Loudermilk, gotta admit, he did have a pretty strong preseason. Dean Lowry, we didn't get to see much of his work, but his past precedes him. And then, of course, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, Larry. By the way, good night, Larry.
Good night, Larry.
Good night.
Have one there.
So, is anybody, surprised with that?
Nope.
Nah.
Well, being said, go ahead, Hijack. I've been talking more than anybody on this stuff.
What was it? Kyron Johnson. We only kept 3 edge rushers, so they're
Wait a second, we're talking defensive line, Nolan. Come on. Do you know what position this is?
Well,
there's no edge rushers on the defensive line. They're defensive line.
Well, the Steelers were saying he was. I don't know. They were lining him up there during preseason.
That's called our outside linebackers. 3-4,
I don't know.
Not 4-3. 3-4, baby. Stick with us.
I really wish we could just modernize this and we can just call all of them edge defenders.
I don't know.
That'd be nice. So it doesn't matter 4-3-3 for the same position. 4-3 DN.
D lineman. All right, but the question is, do you have a problem with any of this on the line?
No.
I do. I'm not comfortable with half of them. I don't know what preseason you were watching and what preseason I was watching, but I wasn't impressed with Loudermilk at all. I thought he got pushed around way too much. Majority of those backups got pushed around way too much. The run, they couldn't stop the run. There was wide open holes. They were getting to the second level. That's not impressive. That's not good football to me. We got older guys that have a history of injury problems. There's not real depth there. I'm very, very concerned about this. As I previously stated in other shows, I think this defensive line is the weakness of this football team.
Well, we still haven't signed Cam yet.
Yeah.
Well, Cam is signed. He's just looking for an extension. Let's be honest. So Cam's already signed for this year.
Yeah.
Right.
I honestly thought Loudermilk was going to get cut.
Yeah, I
That's
kind
what I
of
thought.
He was on the bubble, so.
Yeah, I thought Loudermilk looked better than what he has in years. And
Which
quite
doesn't
honestly,
take much.
Well, and quite honestly, guys, do we really see any of our defensive linemen except Adams? Adams seemed to get the bulk of all the snaps this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Larry played good. What was it? The second game against Buffalo, that first drive, he played pretty well, but
he was only in for a couple of series.
he looked pretty good. But
and Monty had one. He had a sack in one of those games too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on this defensive line whatsoever. Like I said, I don't know what else to say. I think it's the weakness of the football team.
All right. Well, moving on. Linebacker.
Moving on. How about okay.
So we've got 8. Nick Herbrig, Alex Highsmith.
Yes.
Tyler Makovich, Patrick Queen,
Makovich, I don't know about
Roberts, Mark Robinson, TJ Watt, and Robinson Wilson.
Probably the strongest group of the roster.
Yeah, I'd have to say, especially with Peyton coming on.
Patrick Queen
being a complete animal this preseason.
And
whenever he got snaps in the regular season last year, I still say we need to rotate him in more.
He was a great
and you can see a little bit with Mark Robinson. Like there was a couple plays like he got through that line. He just couldn't finish the play. I think that's the biggest knock on Mark Robinson is he can get around the ball, but he doesn't finish the play. If he could somehow become that finisher, he'd definitely be a serviceable middle linebacker.
Well, with the depth we have there, I mean, really, serviceable would be buried on the depth chart in the middle linebacker room.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm just talking basically about his development. You know what I mean? Like, he's obviously not going to crack this lineup, barring we have drastic, devastating injuries.
Which has happened for the last few years.
Yeah, it has happened. Yeah, so it is a possibility.
Don't think about last year.
We're just out here signing people off the street by week.
But I think you will see. I think we will see Mark Robinson make some big plays in the special team area.
Yeah, him and Matakevich made it for special teams mainly.
You know, Matakevich is only there for special teams.
Yeah,
that's all he has ever been when he was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Don't let him tell you that. He'll tell you he's an all-pro middle linebacker.
Well, the guy's also a complete idiot.
Well, let's face it too. He's just, I think,
fits right in, man. Fits right.
He's just a placeholder for Holcomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once Holcomb comes back, week 8, week 9, Matejevich is done on the team.
Yeah.
Now, and I'll agree here earlier there, Hijack, that Kieron, I really thought probably should have made the cut because when you look at it, we kept 3 outside linebackers and we kept 5 inside.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I thought he'd make it over one of the defensive linemen you listed off. Didn't think. Yeah. I think we'd only keep 7, so that was the surprise for me. He looked good and fast off the edge.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we usually always keep 8, don't we? When it comes to defensive line.
Usually it's the defensive line, yes. Mm-hmm. Linebackers usually about 8, 4, and 4 as well here too. I was surprised we went 3 and 5 this year.
Yeah,
on the inside linebacker, and I think that's probably more because you've got when you look at it, you got Tyler, which of course I think is going to be more special teams and holding the place, Matt. Same way with Mark Robinson. That leaves you pretty much with Patrick Queen and Landon Roberts, man, to wait for Holcomb to come back. That doesn't give us much. Well, Peyton Wilson, I love that kid, man. That kid is fucking
dude's going to be a monster.
Yeah. Yep.
I like Landon Roberts. I thought he was probably one of the better free agent pickups we've had in a while. Like, you want to talk about a guy that saved that position last season going, towards the end. Like, that guy made some plays. Like, I like him a lot.
After watching him at Friday Night Lights, that kind of got me a little bit more on the Roberts train. The dude was feisty out there. He's out there trying to fight everybody.
Back on backers drills, man.
Yeah, he and Warren got into it real good one time.
Monte too.
Yeah.
Gotta love it,
All
man.
right.
Love it.
All right. So that takes us down, man. We're up against it. Defensive backs. Beanie, the rookie Bishop Jr., Deshaun Elliott, Jalen Elliott, Minka, Dante Jackson, Damonte Keazi, Miles Killebrew, JPJ, Darius Hushme Rush, and back from injury, Corey Price Trice Jr. Now, what are we thinking there on the defensive back? I was a little surprised, man, that we got 10 of these guys. That might be the biggest surprise out of all the positions is we kept 10 defensive backs, guys. What are they planning on doing? We were looking at running more nickel this year, more dime this year, more 2-5 package. That's a lot of defensive backs, guys.
Yeah, that is a lot. And I'm a little bit concerned, and I'm kind of surprised KZ is still here. I thought he had a terrible preseason.
Yeah.
Not so great camp. The guy looks like he wants to do everything except tackle. And playing the safety position, that's the first thing you need to be able to do is make a tackle. And there was multiple instances where he just wasn't up to par. I think what really kept KZ on this team, and you're going to laugh, but I think the injury to Watts is why he's still here. I thought Ryan Watts was a very, very good draft pick. He lays the wood at the safety position, which is really what we need. We need our safeties to be able to tackle. And I thought, honestly, and I want to get JT fired up for this one, I thought he'd be gone because Terrell Edmunds is available.
Oh, God, no.
And I would bring Terrell Edmunds back.
No.
I would 100% take Terrell Edmunds over DeMonte KZ in a heartbeat.
I do not want to see that guy anywhere near Pittsburgh.
I feel differently.
I'm just getting blown coverage flashbacks, man. No.
Yeah, but the secondary's better than what it was when he was here.
Yeah, I mean, like I will say the guy was a solid run support safety, but the dude just straight up couldn't cover. Except for that one game where he had 3 picks against the Jaguars, and that was just an anomaly.
All right, we're gonna get him back. He's only gonna be playing against the Jaguars.
Yeah, there we go. I can get on board for that.
I don't know, TA. What do you think?
Let him pack groceries, and then we'll pick him up just before that game.
Yeah.
And then we'll just kind of like drop him off nearest curb, not even let him ride on the team bus back.
We'll drop him off at the nearest Kroger.
Ah, there we go.
Well, the one thing I'll say is I'll say this. KZ last year, if you looked at it, normally during preseason, KC really does not do nothing. He doesn't become kamikaze KZ until the regular season. He does take off. He does take off preseason. Mm-hmm. As far as bringing back Terrell's last season with us, it looked like he really understood the defense. He really came to life. I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to him coming back, but again, I'd have to see something from him. But I am surprised that we did keep 10 defensive backs. That was probably my biggest what? So there you have it. But before we go, I got one more thing. Is the new favorite specialist going to become Cameron Johnston? Is anybody except me excited that this guy is booting the ball to fucking Australia?
Yeah, we haven't had a good punter in a long time.
Yeah, really. What was that? We had agreement in the galley back there.
Yeah,
hey, I want to shout out to Claude and John joining us here. last minute. Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We were just getting ready to wrap up the night with our the practice squad players. T. Hay has so generously put together for us.
So again, is anybody else excited about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go, practice squad. Biggest disappointment. One disappointment that you guys thought was an absolute making the team and did not.
All right, I'll go first. Plumlee.
Plumlee.
Good.
I like Plumlee. Because I like the way that kid was. I like the way that kid was returning the ball. I thought he was our best returner this preseason. And the one time we got to watch him throw in Detroit, the kid was not half bad.
Mm-mm.
Tell me he's our best quarterback.
No, I mean, okay. Allen had he had stronger arm.
Yeah.
But he looked good throwing the ball. When we watched him Friday Night Light, Friday Night
Maybe
Lights.
Plumlee could have been our new Duck.
Yeah.
All right, Freight Train.
I guess my biggest disappointment really wasn't really he was cut. It's the injury. It was the Ryan Watts injury. I was really excited to see what he was going to do with that safety position. I thought he was a very underrated safety in college, played at a big program, played against big schools, played big in those games. Because I want somebody to get on that other side that can come down and make the tackles and let Minkah be more of that free runner that he should be. And I was really excited to see if Ryan Watts could fill that. So it's more of a disappointment that he got hurt with that stinger and is out for the year rather than somebody that cut.
All right. And then hijacker?
The edge rusher, Kevin Johnson. He was looking fast off the edge. I was disappointed he didn't make the team.
And that leaves you, Kitch?
Des Fitzpatrick, I was shocked that we only kept 5. I thought for sure he would have been number 6. Dude had a really good preseason.
Well, mine is the German, old Julius. As an edge rusher, I thought that kid in the last 2 games was really coming on pretty strong for a kid who did not know American football. And I'm glad they kept him on the team, even though he's on the IR with Ryan Watts. So it looks like both those kids will be back next year. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And just to wrap this up real quick, we did bring back, guys, 8 of our roster cuts. We still got 8 more to fill for the practice squad. JT, are you surprised that we brought back 3 defensive backs when we already have 10 defensive backs?
Yeah, that was interesting. But John mentioned Coletto. We even came up with a nickname in the preseason, didn't we, guys?
Coletto Coliseum.
Coletto Coliseum, yeah. And Claude also said that he thought Loudermilk should have been cut and still need a legit number 2 wide receiver. So, yeah. But, no, interesting on that. I'm glad they brought Coletto back on the practice squad. Ward back. I was happy about that. And the rest was like, okay, all right. Good. What do you guys think of that? Rest of that?
I like Hot Rod. I really like that kid, man. I thought that he had a great preseason as well too, and I don't know why we don't. Him and Connor, I think, need to be utilized a little bit more. So I was glad to see them bring back Hot Rod.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Kitch? Nolan?
Well, they brought back Graham as well, who can also compete for the slot corner job. Hopefully he can do something for us. Maybe. That's it.
All right, Kitch.
I'm tired.
He's up late. It's past your bedtime.
He's keeping me up late.
Well then, JT, it's up to you to say farewell, my friends.
Should we bid adieu?
Yeah.
I do.
You do. All right, Steeler Nation, thanks for tuning in, man. Hey, especially shout outs to John, Claude. Larry was in earlier. We missed him too. But yeah, he says we're going to win. We are going to win. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go Penn State. Careful in the hot tub, Steeler Nation. We'll catch you next time. We're out of there. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Adieu.
Good night.
Good night, Kitch.
Good night.
Check back next week into the Steelers realm